have a poetry reading. I didn't know. Do you know?
Oh, I did not bring my phone.
Oh, we're having a poetry reading.
Well, I want to welcome you all to our first poetry reading here at Vogue Tully's Café, and I want to thank Jared and Jennifer for allowing us to do this. There's a sign-up sheet for an open mic, sans mic, so you have to kind of talk loud. We're going to YouTube this, so if you don't want to be on YouTube, just let us know and we'll cut it. We're hoping to start doing this as a monthly thing, starting in January, probably the third Saturday. We haven't quite worked it out, but there's also a sign-up sheet if you're interested in doing a poet writers group, where we'll have people read their stuff and then receive critique, and that way it kind of gives us a basis where we can start, finding guest performers to do a spot and then an open mic afterwards. So hope you're all interested in that. Anyway, my name is Dwight Johnson, and the name of my performance is Of a Personal Nature. And just so you kind of know, there's a couple pieces in here from a book I've written about living with chronic pain and disease called Daryl. And Daryl is an acronym for damned affliction, ruined legs, and ... And the book has to do with the ... Anyway, so there's nature poems and then Of a Personal Nature. And I'm really excited because one of the pieces we're going to be doing, I wrote for my brother and my nephew when my nephew was 2. And so they're going to be performing it together for the first time. So I'm excited to see that. And then my nephew's going to join me in a duet piece as well. So here we go. Time's black and white. We've run from the sand and past times, burials, cities, ancestors, and we've stood in awe of Leptis Magna, Pakat Namu, and the Castle Montezuma. We've learned of these fates and follies, not learning but learning of. Sometimes we've grabbed a glimpse of their dreams. Then we return to the daylight, forgetting the times black and white. We return to our cities of today in living color. We return to our palaces, reaching for the Babel sky. We forget dust. We neglect doubt. We stride confidently upon the world, forgetting what we have seen, neglecting what we know about our future. We forget that when what we have seen in the dirt, in the cliffs, has been covered over once again, we too shall be waiting for some wind to make us known. Leaving shadows without the sun. Leaves leave shadows on sidewalks from the rain, temporarily, reminding of Hiroshima shadows of bomb fall. Are they still there? But to be seen, they need to be looked for, or at least we must be open enough to notice them. Beatles, Beethoven, Hitler, Genghis Khan, Lincoln, Alexander, Montezuma's Castle, Masada, they remain in memory, revealed forever, like Jesus, like Buddha, like the pharaohs and Phoenicians, mathematical, alphabetical, we recall. But leaf shadows and fossils we must notice and often dig for, like the before skeleton of Lauren Isley, so we might remember with each drop of petrol and oil, do we recall the lives of the flora and fauna that were? With each grain of sand and salt, do we remember, if only in dreams, the streams, the waters that once ran their course? Not all shadows need sun, but all demand our attention. This is a longer poem, and I started it 30 years ago, and I've read it quite a few times, but I was never quite happy with it, so I finally, I think, tweaked it to where I like it, to where it was supposed to be. It's called An Archaeologist's Treasure, for Pam Lindell and Laura Knisley. The treasure is the treasure within a desert, beneath hot, dry sand, neath dry, hot sun. The legend made, dunes into molehills, dunes into dunes, dunes into mountains. A dust storm of shovel and faith flew in the heavy, seemingly dead air. Golden stars of sand on a blue-belly sky darted and drifted from the treasure. Golden stars swirling and blending, landing to wait to touch the blue-belly sky again. A lonely line of footprints suddenly ending, without sound, without fanfare, without deliberation, they stop. The footprints listen. Nothing. Only sweat dripping, sizzling, being swallowed by the sand beneath the weight of the footprints. No other sound, no other whisper. The desert air, too hot, too thick, too heavy. The treasure is, it sparkles. Beneath soundless unstrung beads lay the ancient anointed heartbeats laid in an aura of the gods. The treasure is there, beneath the dry, hot sand, beheld by fiery, bleached eyes, past dunes of mountains, past dry grass thirst. The treasure is there, where the footprints stop, where X marks the spot on some parchment hope. A personal sandstorm revives. Footprints confuse themselves. The treasure is there. Beyond eternal moments, a smile. The footprints stare in affection, joy, thrill, and the footprints kneel to touch the treasure. The treasure, heavy with fear, light with hope. The opate treasure, tongues of many peoples, presence of many lands, beams of its reflection tickle the blue-belly sky. Footprints look up, gaze, behold, and are touched by the treasure. As the footprints rise from kneeling, so too the sand. At first the dry beads begin to swirl on the horizon. The footprints look outward, the blue-belly sky, turning various hues of brown, the sun gone orange and red. The footprints look up to behold the glory, the ferocity, the unyielding wall of sand, and the footprints watch. The haboob overtakes the footprints, ripping flesh and hair. The footprints swirled away in the storm's confusion, cells and genes away in storm's confusion, heartbeats and breaths never lasting. The footprints, now a child, now an adult, now a memory, a future curiosity, weep and wonder if they have touched, knowing they have been touched by the treasure. Collapsing in place, then blowing, scattering into other beings, other places, later times, disappearing to be revealed again in another sets of footprints. The treasure is, it sparkles. Winter life. And so, the leaf clung to the life of its tree, though the leaf was dead, like Jesus, the Caesars, like Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid drinking crew. Clung to life ever after like the pharaohs, like Baker and Fay, like Osama, The leaf clung tenaciously, tenuously to the eternal life of the tree. Berries still clung, tightened, fiercely, only to be eaten by the winter's starving fowl. The leaf's companions, its family and friends, had jumped like lemmings in a wind that wouldn't stop its whistling, its wailing, its shuddering, its shaking. What did another leaf look like anyway? This sole survivor hanging by a split stem could only anymore imagine, contemplate, recall. They must have all looked alike, curled brown, hanging desperately to the life of a tree. Wind to wind, snow to the ground, into the mulch of the spring raking if lucky. But still it clung to life, even in death. Like MacArthur, like Hitler, like Houdini. Somehow, my dreams laid bare upon this tree, carried in the gales, buried in the snow. Winter has truly set in. This is called Helping Out, and it's from my book, Daryl. Having fallen, I faced the sky, and I prayed to the moon. She remained bright, cold, indifferent, her face not changing. So I prayed to the sun. He reflected the perdition of hell, then hid behind the horizon, unable to look me in the face. I prayed to Jesus. He was busy being dead. I prayed to Mother Mary. She was busy bleeding for her son. I prayed to God. He was grieving for his son too. I prayed to Allah, but he was embarrassed. I prayed to Buddha. He was too fat with contemplation. I prayed to the Hindi kings and queens. They were deaf with the prayers of millions. I prayed to the Olympians. They were out of vogue. I prayed to a kid running down the alley. He stopped, stooped, and lent me his hand. Voices of sight. As though to see the whirling world from above, ants partake in a communion of a dead bird's eyes, in attempts to glean an attitude of altitude that is saved for some other beings that must one day, one last time, so they, like fallen trees filled with hidden rings of history, can share their visions of the whirling world beneath them. Now I'd like to introduce to you my brother Daryl and my nephew JJ.
Are you done?
No.
Oh, okay. Need a applause sign so we know when. That's why I like the idea they give us fruit.
That clip off.
Yeah, it paused. It was still recording them. Okay, so I'm JJ, and
I'm DJ.
yeah, that's not going to confusing. Then maybe we should switch parts. Thought that would be kind of funny, but this piece is called "Fishing Around," and I'll be playing the 2 or 3 year old version of myself. Daddy, where do flowers come from?
From seeds in the ground.
Where do seeds come from?
From other flowers in the ground. Well, a question suddenly.
Just wondering, Dad. Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
Where did the ground the seeds are in come from?
Look, it's part of the earth. It's from the ocean. It's from the ice ages. It's from space. It's all that's left to us from our past.
Well, that's a long answer. A good one, too.
Thanks, son.
Hey, Dad. Where did all the things that make the ground come from?
Look, Do I look like an oracle, an encyclopedia or something?
No.
Oh, okay, kiddo. Look, some people say it all started with an accidental explosion. Some people say God did it, that he lit the TNT to make all of that explode.
Huh. Well, who made God? Dad, who made God?
Oh, look, son, a frog.
Oh, hey, frog. My dad's pissed at me. He won't tell me where God comes from. Do you know?
Rabbit.
Well, how could God just happen to be? I'm sorry, Frog. I just don't understand. Maybe you can tell me this, though. How come you're green? Well, why do I keep asking all these questions when you and Dad don't have any answers? Was that a good fly, Frog? Hey, Dad?
Yeah, son.
You still mad at me?
Oh, no. I never was. Just tired is all.
Hey, did you catch anything yet?
Yeah. It's in the bucket.
Oh, hey, fish. That's a pretty one, Dad.
Glad you like it, kiddo.
He sure breathes funny, though.
I know, son. I know.
Hey, fish. How come you breathe like that? You got a cold or something? I open my mouth like that to breathe when I have a cold. Only my mom always gives me some histamine. Haven't you got any histamines? Don't you feel cramped in the bucket like that? I feel like that too when my covers get tucked in too tight. Here, let me put you in the water so you can stretch. Do you like that, huh? That must have hurt hitting your head on the bucket like that. Here you go. Swim. No. Don't float upside down. Swim. Hey, Dad. How come this fish won't swim?
Because he's dead, son. Hey, kid, what the hell are you doing? That's a nice dinner.
I'm sorry. He just looked cramped. Like I was when I got my head stuck in the railing of the stairs. I thought he might like to move around, only he's dead.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be.
How come?
Because we don't eat living... Well, just be quiet. Shut up and sit down.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, that's better.
Hey, Dad.
Huh?
Can I not go fishing anymore?
I think that should be a radio play. That's great. That was cute. The sound effects.
I think I actually still have it on tape as a radio thing.
So I wrote that with Joshua's too, so it's been quite a while.
Wow.
I don't think I was that easily as a kid, though.
This is called Henry David. He stalks the forest fox, rambles sand and wave, pacing in solitude, calling for natural disorder. He maps real and imagined landscapes, teasing two extremities into a single weave. The surveyor sees more than most desire. Still, he seeks well deep green waters, dew on buttonbush plantain. Learning from tea leaves before a brew, giggling drops of cloudburst, the smell of seasons change, marking length and breadth at its height, the middle of the two is the deepest, and he measures some private sea. To find the lone hunter's lair, he avoids the larger towns. Roaming plains of common folk, the prairie dog is his way. Padding rivers upstream, returning with their flow, portraying catfish one moment, favoring a buck the next. He hikes the summits, then forages autumn hollows. Watching the leaves glide, tree to loam, Henry David learns their way. Considering them his friendship, he gracefully lays himself down amongst them. I love Thoreau. This is called Body Me, and this is from Daryl. Oh, how I just want to run and jump to slough off this withering coil, though I know this dangling flesh enveloping bone and tendon and muscle and a sundry tissue is not me. It is not who I am. But when I look in the mirror, the me that I am can only think that I am looking at myself, and I sometimes want to wrench my being outside myself, because other people are beautiful, man. The aging gent who stoops with a cane, the fat old hag with matted hair and warts, the skinny kid with missing front teeth, the velvet-skinned black woman with thick, moist lips, the crack-skinned man in dirty clothes and ripped shoes, the chubby child with diapers drooping kneeward. These are the beautiful people, man. They and the other people, like the blonde in a wheelchair grown fat with discomfort, the three-fingered boy with a soccer ball, the Choctaw woman waiting for her disease, the blind little girl who learned that unseeing eyes can sparkle brightly, the necklace old cuss who used to throw football and chase it and run with it and make girls with it, the balding guru who wears loose cloth, the aging hippie out of touch, out of his mind. These are the beautiful people, man. They and the others who are not what they appear to be, with their sagging breasts, their knobby knees, with scared eyes and trembling cracked lips, and jaundiced eyes and broken teeth, savaged limbs and ravaged faces, with fat ears and unkempt beards. They are not what they appear to be. I know that. But when I look in the mirror and see this misshapen, at times decrepit form, I want to wail and die and be done with the me that it seems I cannot refrain from equating with the me that I truly am, with the me that has again learned to walk only to fall back into the wheels of some fabled pram from long ago, with the me that sits and knows that this feeling is shit and feels stupid and ridiculous once again for feeling the failure of his body anew. Thank you. This is called Leaf. I lay on a frostbitten lawn, a tree above my head, a dead leaf just beneath Venus and the moon. Death and birth, birth and death, a symbiotic dance in the sky. No wonder I'm so stinking drunk. This is called Lacto Drum, which is Romanian for safe journey. And it's based on a documentary about the gypsies through northern Africa, up through Romania, Czechoslovakia, up through Spain. And there's no narration to it. It's all gypsy music. And it's just a beautiful film. And I watched it 3 or 4 times and had to write this poem. Tree people, between subtlety of cloud, fullness of snow, play your saddened music. Auschwitz born the phrase, sorry child, your number is up. You're a beautiful, ugly people. Hang your bouquet where now live the dead, begging God for mercy or at least to dance. He sends a horse in trouble like gypsies and the dogs. Play the fiddle, blow your bass. Your blessed Jesus will no longer bleed for you. Play your guitar, pound your axe. The wood's on fire with music and flame. Passion flower with dimpled chin, where will you settle with the fall of winter? Bastard child, Spanish Pole, Jew, Muslim, where will you settle, dolting out your life in ever-changing city streets? Tree people, you're a beautiful, ugly people. This was kind of an experiment, and it's called Looker. The universe, and I looking inward, moving out, and iris blooms. The spokes in spiral, clawing and losing a claw blindly cutting the emptiness spreading outward under some influence, seeking inside, spreading debris, uncalculated, never landing, and iris blooms, and I, what does it see? What does it see within? These are actually lyrics for a song I wrote called I Met I. And it's in answer to Dylan's Hard Rain's Gonna Fall and the Nails' 88 lines about 44 women. If you ever get a chance to hear that song, by the way, it's really funny. It's really great. I met an old man who hoped to die. I met a young girl who just liked to try. I met a poor child who could only cry, and then I met I. Well, I met an old friend who was cynical. I once made a friend while being biblical. I once had a friend who seemed trivial. I kept seeing this girl on the peripherals. I kept meeting this friend. It was cyclical. And I've said some goodbyes that were critical. And then I met I. She said, so enjoy yourself while you may, for tomorrow is always a horizon away. Now, I once had a friend, now a millionaire, and I knew this one girl with wild windswept hair. I know many people who put on tight airs, and I've once followed my nephew up some flight of stairs. I've watched a lot of people who just stand and stare, and I've honored a few who were brave enough to dare, and then I met I. So enjoy yourself, she said to me, for this time tomorrow may never be at all. Now, I've heard from folks who think I am wrong, and I've tried to defend that it takes too long. And I met some people who said they didn't belong, and most of those people were those who were strong. And I've tried with some folks who felt they were wronged, and then I met I. So enjoy yourself, she said to me, for this time tomorrow may never be yours. Well, I know this guy who always wore blue, and I've chatted with some fellow who said he's met you, and I've known some Reds who have paid their dues, and I've known many more who haven't a clue of where they should be because they wish they was you. And they're never concerned or there'd be something to do, and they're always listening for words to misconstrue as they wait in the wings for some actor's cue while they sip away at some ha-ha brew. And then I met I. So enjoy yourself, she said to me, for this life of yours is never yet to be. Now I know a woman who holds a mighty laugh, and I know this guy who's still stuck in the past, and I know this girl who lives on higher planes. I've been touched by a woman who's mostly insane, and I know this guy who knows constant pain, and I've met many people who are terminally vain. I hang out with this guy who's walked dusty roads, and I know this one woman who loves fancy clothes. And there is some woman who reminds me of a girl, except she is older and has added some curls. And I have a friend who just wants to play cards. Sometimes I want a woman who just makes me hard. But there are two guys who just make me mad, because one is too crude and the other just laughs. And then I met I. So enjoy yourself while you may, for you know tomorrow is always a horizon away. Now, I once loved a woman who was such a queen, but she didn't love me because she thought me too clean. Then I loved a woman who was born in June, and I loved a girl who loved only the moon. And I loved a woman, but she left me too soon, and I have a friend who can't carry a tune. And I like this girl who sniffs silver spoons, and I still love this woman whom I know is you. Because I fell in love with this echo of mine, and I followed your music, and I happened to find that I know many people who remind me of me, like I'm looking in the mirror where they happen to be. And then I know I. Thank you. I don't do a lot of rhyming poems, you probably noticed, so. This next one is called Just Another Day, New Year's. And I wrote this the year to the day my father died. Winds blow, rivers flow, clouds and fog gather, rain falls, snow drifts, the east to the west of us quakes, and an island is born. A mantle shakes, chicks jump from their nest to fly or fall. The heron, Henry to some, stands vigil on fallen pilings. Leaves walk the sidewalk, grass curtsies, branches bow. White winter sun fades red, otters fish and play, beavers be damned, pine nettles rustle, a northwestern hula. Pigeons flocking, cuckoo-a-choo. I actually saw one sneeze. Terns call and dive. Neither elements nor beast notices, nor much care that an imaginary second, moment, year has come and gone. Happy New Year. Life goes on. I want to bring back Josh here to do a duet with me. And this is called Breath.
First inhale.
Screaming a lifetime apart.
Last exhale.
Murmurs between each.
Inhale.
Cleansing.
Exhale.
Release.
Inhale.
Moments filling spaces between lives.
Exhale.
Life-filling moments between the deaths.
Sucking in.
Dizzy breath holding frustration.
Blowing out.
Wide-eyed, breath stopping, aroused.
One soul's.
Inhale.
Another's.
Exhale.
United.
Take in.
Unique.
Deliver.
In.
Only you
In.
can know
Hail.
your breaths.
Eh.
Only I
Ex.
can live
Hail.
my deaths.
Inhale.
Lives filling moments amidst the spaces.
Exhale.
Deaths filling life between these moments.
Sucking in.
I take thee.
Letting go.
It is done.
In.
You know
In.
your mother
Hail.
was born to die.
Ex.
All your
Ex.
trials, Pa,
Hail.
soon be over.
Inhale.
We die alone.
Exhale.
No one to do it for us.
Inhale.
Father, why hast thou forsaken me?
Exhale.
Like breath, one realizing.
Inhale.
Horror, knowing hell, we all must die.
Exhale.
Alone. Like our breathing. Thank you, Josh. The sun rises over the horizon, then over a neighbor's garage roof. To which day do I choose to yield. So dance. How? With abandon. How I want to do just that. Yes, oh yeah. To dance and live with abandon. To forget what people say I must do. To neglect what I tell myself I must do. A much harder secret to learn, that one. So easy to forget. To throw away all hope, need, want, responsibility, fear, and just dance with abandon. God Almighty, do that dance. Yes, oh yes, that crazy crane dance of the crazy. Thank you. I want to thank you for your kind attention. We'll take about a 5 or 10 minute break so everybody can kind of stretch or whatever, and then we'll do an open mic.
If you want to sign up for the open mic, the steps over here.
Just pause it.
Very nice.
Thank you, Steve. Glad you made it, man.